Hello friends, welcome to the channel Vales&Tales. Today we will discuss Ode to a Nightingale. This is an ode by John Keats. This ode was written in 1819, and at that time Keats was living with his friend Charles Brown in this place called Hampstead, and it is Charles Brown who has written in one of his letters that he has seen Keats one day sitting under a tree in the spring of 1819, and he saw him writing something, and when he came inside he has some scraps, four or five in number, that is few pages, four or five in number, that contained his poetic feeling on the song of our nightingale. So there was a plum tree outside Charles Brown house, and under that tree Keats sat, and he composed this ode to a nightingale. Why he composed only about nightingale? Because a nightingale had built her nest near his house, so he might be listening to the song, and he composed his poetic response to the song of nightingale in the form of this ode. Now before diving into the ode, let's know John Keats briefly. John Keats was born in 1795 in England, and he died in 1891 in Italy. So he was only 26 when he died, and he was all alone at that time, because he has already lost his father when he was 10. Then he lost his mother, and he has also lost his younger brother Tom Keats to tuberculosis. Tom Keats was suffering from tuberculosis, and ultimately he succumbed to this disease. And at that time when he was composing this ode, Keats was also suffering from tuberculosis, and he was aware of this fact that sooner he is also going to die. He loved a woman called Fanny, but his love was rejected by Fanny Brown, and he was sad in that context as well. So Keats was very miserable during this time, not only his health but also in his love life. Moreover, as if we talk about his artistic life, he was brutally criticized by the critics of that time. His poetry was criticized, and he was often labeled as a poet whose poetry has no merit. Which merit? Artistic merit. That his poetry has no artistic merit. So a man who is living a solitary life, all alone, with his friend for some time, but majorly he is living a miserable life because he is suffering from a disease which is incurable. He was widely criticized for his poetry. He was rejected in his love by Fanny, so he was sad, and he was not at all happy in his life. So this unhappiness, this forlornness, and this sorrowful nature of Keats can be reflected or can be read in this ode as well, Ode to a Nightingale. Now let's dive into the ode. So first of all, why this poem is called ode? What is an ode? Now an ode is a lyric poem. It is a lyric poem that addresses and often celebrates. So this is a lyric poem that addresses and often celebrates a person, place, thing, an idea, or an event. So here in this poem, he is addressing a nightingale. He is celebrating the song of nightingale. Now talking about the structure of this ode is divided into 8 stanzas, and each stanza has 10 lines. So all the lines are in iambic pentameter except line number 8, which is in iambic trimeter. We have only 6 stresses and unstresses in this line, trimeter. Okay, this line, right? Now talking about the rhyme scheme of this stanza follows this rhyme scheme: A, B, A, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. So this A, pains, rhyme with drains. This drunk rhymes with sunk, that is why A, B, A, B. Now this lot rhymes with plot, that is why C, C. Happiness rhymes with numberless, that is why D, D. And trees rhymes with ease, that is why E, E. So the rhyme scheme is A, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. Now you will see that this ode follows the strict structure. Each stanza follows the same rhyme scheme, and each stanza has 9 lines in iambic pentameter and 1 line in iambic trimeter. So since it is following a fixed structure, it has consistent stanza length and meter. So this ode is a Horatian ode. We have different types of ode like Pindaric ode, Horatian ode. So this ode is Horatian ode because it follows consistent stanza length and meter. So this is about the structure of this ode to a Nightingale. Now let's understand this ode by analyzing each stanza one by one. So stanza 1. In stanza 1, it talks about poets, that is your Keats, poets' excitement. Now why he's excited? His excitement as he listens to the song of Nightingale. To the song of Nightingale. So this stanza is actually tells us about the impact of Nightingale's song on Keats. So what is the impact of Nightingale's song on Keats? He says that his heart is aching and there is a drowsy numbness, and what this drowsy numbness is doing, it is actually paining his senses. So his sense is, there is ache, there is pain in his heart, there is pain in his senses, and it seems to him that as if he has drunk hemlock. Now what is this hemlock? This hemlock is a poisonous herb, right? And this is a Greek reference. So this is a tree in Greek mythology that has poisonous effect, and it seems to Keats that as if he has drunk this poison and he is feeling numb, his heart is aching, and it feels to him that as if he has emptied dull opiate to the drains, that is all, that he has drunk opium as well. So opium is also an intoxicated drug. So he is feeling drugged, he is feeling pained, that is, he is not in his senses. And 1 minute passed and Lethe Wads had sung. It seems to him that he was sunk in this river. Now what is this Lethe? This is the river of forgetfulness. Again from Greek mythology, we have a lot of allusions, Greek allusions in this ode. So this hemlock and this Lethe is example of those allusions only. So it seems to him that he has forgotten everything, as if he has sunk in this river Lethe, and he is saying this thing that all this drowsiness, this numbness and this forgetfulness is not because he is jealous of the happiness of Nightingale, but he is also happy with Nightingale's happiness. Since Nightingale is singing, and it seems to poet that Nightingale is singing in happiness, and he is happy because Nightingale is happy. Now he is comparing here Nightingale with a light-winged Dryad of the trees. So the noise, so the voice, the song of the Nightingale is coming from the forest, is coming from the trees. So he is comparing Nightingale with a light-winged Dryad. Dryad here is the nymph of forest. So he is comparing Nightingale with this light-winged Dryad. So this is the metaphor here. He is using metaphor here. Now it seems to him that as if Nightingale is singing and his Nightingale is like a Dryad, the forest nymph, and in some melodious plot of beechen green. So she is singing from this ground of beechen green. Beechen green here is he is referring to the trees, beechen trees, which are all green, and somewhere from those trees this Nightingale is singing, and the canopy of these beechen trees is so dense that it seems that there is all shadow. And in this summer month, she is singing, the Nightingale is singing in full-throated ease. Full-throated ease means that she is singing all her heart out. So this is the impact of Nightingale's song on poets, that he is feeling numb, he is feeling drowsy, he is feeling pained, as if he has forgotten everything. He is completely transported to the world of Nightingale in this stanza after listening Nightingale's song. Now in stanza 2nd and stanza 3rd, there is same idea which is running in both the stanzas. It is Keats' desire or Keats' wish to enter into the world of Nightingale, right? And why he wants to go into the world of Nightingale, why he wants to enter the world of Nightingale, why he wants to leave this world of human beings, this we will see in these two stanzas, right? Now, how he will enter the world of Nightingale. It is difficult for human beings to enter into the bird's world. So how he is trying to enter into the world? He's saying that, oh, for a draught of vintage that had been cold long age in the deep delved earth, tasting of flora and the country green, dance and provincial song and sunburnt myth. He is asking for a draught of vintage. Draught of vintage means drink of wine. So which wine? A wine which was cold a long age. So he is asking for an old wine that tastes of flora. Flora is here reference to the Roman goddess of flowers. So that tastes of flowers, that tales of the country green. Country green means the country, the countryside from where the wine has been brought, and particularly he is referring to this place called Provence. Provence is a place in France, and he's saying that the drink should come from that particular place, and that drink should be full of happiness, joviality of the countryside people. And when he will drink that drink, when he will have that drink, he will be transported to Nightingale's world. Now again he's saying here, oh, for a beaker full of the warm south. So that beaker should be full of, he's comparing the liquid, that the liquid should be is would be full of warm south. Warm south means the warm air of south. Again he's referring to France here. Full of the true, the blushful hypocrite. That beaker, that vintage, the drink of vintage, it should be full of hypocrine. Now blushful hypocrine is personification here. That is, what is personification? When you are giving living attributes to non-living entities. Hypocrine here is a waterfall. Again, this is Greek mythology. So this waterfall is at Mount Helicon, and it is believed that the water of this waterfall inspires creativity in artists. So if an artist will have the water from this waterfall, his creativity will increases and he will be able to produce more good results. So he's saying that that beaker which would be having the water, and that liquid would be of water of hypocrine with beaded bubbles winking at the brim. Now beaded bubbles, the alliteration here, that is a repetition of the consonant word be. So this drink should be full, right? Full to the brim, and a purple stained mouth, that when I will drink this drink, it will turn my mouth into purple color. And he's saying that when I will drink that blushful hypocrine, I will leave the world unseen, and with thee fade away into the forest dim. So after having a drink, after having a drink of wine, I would be transported to your world. Whose world? Nightingale's world. Now he's saying here again, fade far away, dissolve and quite forget what thou among the leaves hast never known. He wants to enter the world of Nightingale. He wants to forget everything that this human human life has bestowed upon him. He's saying that there are so many things, my dear Nightingale, that you don't know because you live among the leaves. What you don't know? The life of us, the life of human beings. What is the life of human beings? The weariness, the fever and the fret. Here we are tired, we are anxious, we are suffering from diseases, sickness. Here where men sit and hear each other groan. So we have here men who sit with each other and who complains about different things that are happening in their lives. Here we have seen how people are being struck by paralysis, how people are growing old. People are sad because they are aging. Last gray hair here reference to the aging. So people are growing old here. Here youth is also dying because the youth is suffering from so many deadly diseases. Here he is referring to his own brother Tom, who has lost his life due to tuberculosis. He was so young, but he also died. So he's saying that here in my world, people are suffering from weariness, fever, fret. People are aging. People are suffering from different diseases. No matter whether you are old or you are young, you will die of certain diseases. For example, he's saying here that youth also turn pale, and gradually they also lose their life to different kind of diseases. So where but two things is to be full of sorrow. So here in my world, in human world, there is only sorrow and leaden-eyed despair. So there is all pessimism, there is no optimism here. And here beauty cannot remain forever. So there is impermanence. impermanence of beauty. So today the person who is young, who is beautiful, won't be able to remain young forever, and or new love pine at them beyond tomorrow. So the new love, so people who are lately in love with each other, they're also worrying whether their love will remain with them forever or not, right? So here everything is transitory, is temporary in human world, and everything has some sort of sadness and sorrow, because we have all kind of illness, aging, fever, worries, right? So this is the reason why he wants to enter into the world of Nightingale. And of course we know that Keats is also suffering from all these things. He is suffering from tuberculosis, he's rejected in love, his poetry was brutally criticized by the critics. So he's saying that our world is not a happy world. That's why I want to enter into your world which is full of happiness, just like your song. Now in stanza 4, he changed his idea. Earlier he said that I will enter your world through drink, right? He's asking for drink, he's asking from a wine. But now in stanza 4, he is depending upon poetic imagination. His stanza 4 shows poet's reliance. Now he's relying on poetic fancy to help him, right, in his flight, where he wants to go in his flight into the realms of Nightingale. So here he is saying that away, for I will fly to thee. Thee means you. He's saying that I am coming to you, and not charioted by Bacchus. Again, reference to Greek mythology. Bacchus is the god of wine, and he's saying that I'm not taking support of wine to come to you. I'm not taking any help from Bacchus and his parts here is the leopards. It is believed that the chariot of Bacchus is run by the leopards. So he's saying that I'm not taking any assistance, any aid, any help from this Bacchus, from wine, but I will enter into your world through my own poetic imagination, through my own fancy. He's saying the viewless wings of poesy, that is the poetry which has wings, but those wings are invisible. It happens that in our imagination we are sitting right now in J&K, but in our imagination we can go to any place. So that's why he's saying that I will not come to you through the support of or through the aid of wine, but I will come to you through my poetic imagination. So he's saying that sometimes it happens that this dull brain confuses you and prevents you, right? But I'm already with thee. So here the poet is one with the Nightingale. He's saying that I am, at this point of time, I'm completely with you, already with thee. So now tender is the night. So night is tender, night is soft, and happily the queen moon is on her throne. Personification again, where he's comparing the moon with queen. He's saying the moon is on her throne and moon is surrounded by stars. So, but here there is no light. He's saying that here where I am sitting, there is no light, because we have read that he is sitting under a plum tree. So plum tree is quite dense, so there is no light here. I say that there is some amount of light which is coming from the tree, and yeah, this light is making its way, but it is not clear light. Okay, now because it is not clear light, so in chapter 4 he is one with the nightingale. Okay, but in chapter 5 he is again separated from Nightingale. So poet's separateness from bird. In this stanza, he says that I cannot see what flowers are at my feet. Just we have read in this stanza as well, when he says, but here, there is no light, no proper light. So he's unable to see the flowers at his feet, but he can sense, he can smell. What he can smell, that in embalmed darkness, guess each sweet. He can guess each flowers, and he is guessing that this is a seasonable month, this is a spring month, and spring month is full of flowers. So there is grass, there is thicket, and the fruit tree wild. Grass here is referring to, of course, these small grasses, then thicket is the bushes, then fruit tree is the big trees. So maybe he's referring to here childhood, young age, and old age, right? And he's saying that they are white hawthorn, the flowers, pastoral eglantine is there, and he is guessing it because he is smelling the flowers. He is smelling the sweetness of the flowers, although he could not see any flowers, but he can guess that they are hawthorn, they are eglantine, and there are grass, thicket, and the fruit trees wild. And he can also smell that they are violets flower, which are fading. Why they are fading? Because violet is the flower of winters, and now it is spring, so violet flowers is fading and is giving way to May's eldest child. So violet flowers are fading, and I can smell musk rose. Musk rose is the flower of spring. So violet is going and musk rose is coming, so there is arrival of the spring, and I can smell all these flowers, and these flowers are full of dewy wine. And he can also hear the murmurous haunt of flies on summer eve. So this paragraph is full of intense imagery, visual imagery, right, olfactory imagery. So visual imagery, you can see everything that he's asking, that the image that he's making, the trees, the flowers, and you can also smell along with poet the fragrance of different flowers, right? So this is about chapter 5. He now in the chapter 6, there is this is a kind of a morbidity, and there is a very gloominess in this chapter, as Keats morbid impulse to die. Keats shows his morbid impulse to die at the very moment. So in this stanza, Keats is asking for death, right? What he's saying that there is too much darkness, and I can listen to this haunt of flies. I can listen, and many a time I have asked for easeful death, because death is easeful for him. Death is not something which is painful. It is something which is very easy, and he wants to die because he is suffering, he is in pain, and death would be able to end all his sufferings and pain. He said that I have written about death in many of my rhymes. I have given him so many names, and I want this death to take me into the air, my quiet breath. Now more than ever seems it rich to die. He's saying that now I feel that it is the right time to die, because I am in ecstasy. I'm happy with Nightingale's song, and in that night, if I'll die, I'll feel no pain. That's why he's saying that while you are pouring forth thy soul abroad in such an ecstasy, when you are singing and I can hear your song from such a distance, you are singing and I can hear your song, but I'm still with your song, and but I want to die. I don't want to live here, because this is the moment when I should die. And he's saying that when I will die, you will keep on singing, and I have ears in vain. Although your voice would not reach my ear, and my ears will be in vain, no use, because I am long dead. But I am assuring you that your song will work as a requiem for me. When I am, under the ground, your song would be a requiem. So requiem is a mournful song which is usually sung during funerals. So your song will reach out to me when I'll be in my grave. So this is a very, so this stanza is full of pessimism. This stanza is full of sadness when he is asking for death. Now, why he's asking for death, we know that he is living a very sad life. That is why he's saying that it's a high time when I should die, and when if I'll die now, I won't feel any pain, because I'm happy and I'm in your world. Now, in stanza 8, again he affirms the permanence of bird song. He's saying that Nightingale, dear Nightingale, your song is permanent. Although I'll die soon, I am dying soon, I will die soon, but your song will remain forever. Now what he's saying here, he's saying that you are not born for death, you are an immortal bird. So this is an hyperbole here, hyperbole, because we know this bird will die. Okay, but of course, if this particular bird will die, the song will also die, right? But he's saying that you are an immortal bird, you will not die, because there are no hungry generations who wants you, who are pulling your legs, because we have read that he was widely criticized for his poetry. So he's saying that there are no hungry generations in your community that are trying to pull you down. So the voice that I am hearing was also heard by emperors and clowns. So in ancient days, in the past also, your song was heard by emperor and clown. So your song was also heard by Ruth. So who is Ruth? This is by biblical allusions along with the Greek allusions of Hippocrene, Lethe, Bacchus. Now we have the biblical allusion where he is alluding to Ruth. Ruth is a young widow, and who is living with her mother-in-law at this place called Maobi, right? So she's all alone there. She has left Bethlehem, her place, the place of her parents, and now she is living with Maobi, have lost her husband, her father-in-law, and living all alone with her mother-in-law longing for the place, sick for her home that she has left, that is Bethlehem. But your song is giving a peace to Ruth as well. He's saying that Ruth, who used to stand in tears amid the alien foreign land, because this is not her land, she is she is sick for her home, but your song has soothed her. Now, your song was listened by emperors and clown in ancient days. Your song was listened by Ruth as well. So, your song was also listened by people who got struck in the dangerous seas. And when they have opened the magic casement, when they have opened the windows, the windows that opens in perilous seas, people there also have listened to your songs. So in the fairy lands forlorn, so places which are far away, people who are living there all alone can also listen to their song. So your song is immortal because your song is present today. Your song was present in the past as well, and your song will continue to exist, unlike us human beings who are going to die soon. Now, in this eighth stanza, which is the last stanza, after saying all these things about Nightingale and about his desire to die at the moment, this stanza shows Keats is waking up from his fancy. He wakes up from his fancy and he becomes aware, right? He becomes aware that the nightingale has fled. Now he no longer can listen to Nightingale's song, so he became aware of that. And what he writes, forlorn, the very word is like a bell. So the moment he has said that your song might be listened by people living in the lands forlorn, he's saying that this forlorn is like a bell. So this is a simile here, right? Where he's comparing this forlorn with bell. He's saying it is like a bell that has brought me back to my soul self. And adieu, the fancy cannot cheat so well. Although I have tried to enter into your world with my poetic fancy, with my poetic imagination, but it seems that I cannot come to your world because poetry cannot cheat, as she is famed to do, deceiving elf. This fancy, she is a deceiving elf. She cannot be your truthful partner, and she is famous for this thing. ये धोखा देती है fancy हमेशा, ठीक है? कितनी देर तक अपनी imagination में रहोगे? कभी ना कभी आपको reality में आना पड़ेगा. So adieu, thy plaintive anthem fades. कहता है your plaintive anthem, your sad anthem fades now. That is, I'm no longer able to listen to your beautiful song. Now he's saying the beautiful song, he's saying that sad song. I'm unable to listen to it now because past the near meadows, you have passed the near meadows, you have passed the stream, you are gone now, and your song is deep buried. I'm unable to listen to your song as you have moved to the next valley glades. So the Nightingale song is no more there, and he's asking these rhetorical questions here. He says that was it a vision or a waking dream? Was it a vision? Was it an epiphany? Was it some kind of spiritual vision? Or I was seeing you in a dream? Fled is that music. He said your music has fled. I am unable to listen to your music now. Your music has fled. Do I wake or sleep? Am I awake or am I sleeping? So after this, with these rhetorical questions, he closes this ode, right? So this is all about Ode to a Nightingale. The major themes that are being dealt in this ode by Keats is, of course, death and nature, immortality of bird, right? So poetic imagination, that how he wants poetic imagination to transport him into the world of Nightingale, and how poetic imagination can help any one of us to go into the world of our choice, right? And yes, then of course permanence versus impermanence, permanence versus impermanence. Okay, so this is all about this ode to a Nightingale. I don't want to extend this video, so what I will do, the poetic devices, I will write it in the description box so you can check it out and it will help you. Thank you so much.